that the Big Bang Theory has been disproven. Now, let me ask you real quick.
Aren't any scientists that have said that?
Yeah, there is. You can Google it. It's the new thing. They're talking about the black hole theory now, right? So, and you can Google it up. I promise you that's true. But my question for you is, or would you accept the black hole theory of science if they give you enough information that the Big Bang Theory does not exist?
I would like to think so.
So what you're believing right now as your science, as a finite version of, hey, this is true, Big Bang Theory is true, could be false then, is what we're saying.
It can't be science if it can't in principle be falsified.
Right. So my question for you is, if all the new scientists are saying they're calling it the Big Bounce theory, or the other one talks about the black hole theory in science. So if you believe in the Big Bang theory, you are about as outdated as the people that say the Earth is flat.
Wait, what?
What I'm saying is, right now you're saying that the Big Bang theory is true. And unless you change your stance off the Big Bang theory for everything you've learned from science, and now they're saying the Big Bounce theory or the black hole theory is the truth, if you stuck to the Big Bang theory, you would be in the same pool of flurfs or flat earthers.
Oh, right. Okay, something like that. If that happened, then I mean,
but it has happened. What I'm telling you is, they're saying the Big Bang theory is not real.
It certainly has not happened, because we can't at this moment prove whether or not we live in a black hole. There's just this remarkable coincidence that if you take the mass of all the observable matter in the universe and figure out what the Schwarzschild radius would be for all of that, you get about the diameter of the observable universe. But we've never been inside of a black hole to understand what the properties inside of a black hole are like, to know if a universe can exist inside of one.
But what I'm saying is, the new scientists are saying, just the latest science is saying, the Big Bang theory is not the Big Bang theory. It's either the Big Bounce theory or the black hole theory.
The big bounce would still be the Big Bang. It just adds another component to it.
Of the Big Bang theory. Actually, someone put that in the chat just a second ago. But it's an extension of the Big Bang theory, which means the Big Bang theory was either flawed or has to be updated or improved because there's discrepancies in the Bang theory.
No scientific theory is ever complete. I mean, we don't know how quantum mechanics and gravity work together. Maybe one day we will unite them. When we unite them, it won't be the case that quantum mechanics therefore is and always was false. We just now understand a different aspect of it. It can now be unified with something else.
Yeah,
I mean, like take electromagnetism. That's literally a unified force. But you can, it depends on what you're doing, but you can do electrics, or you can study magnets completely divorced of the other thing and be 100% successful in what you're doing. It depends on what you're doing. If you're trying to make an electric motor, then no, you do have to understand both of them. But if you're just trying to understand certain aspects of either of them in a certain application, you can completely ignore the other one, and you're not being fallacious. And the data and whatever that you do there is not wrong or incomplete. Not really.
Yeah, I see the chat really jumps on the side of just defending themselves. They're like, "Oh, this is wrong, and he doesn't know what he's talking about." But a quick Google can tell you that's what they said. They said the Big Bang theory is almost no more. They're either going to call it the Big Bounce theory, which I'm okay with that, or the black hole theory, that everything's in a black hole or in a big black hole. So I guess the extension to my question is, what if everything on your chart right now you believe to be true, the MAGA one's an opinion, but no evidence of God, the Big Bang theory, which is starting to become outdated, evolution is true. What if 60 years from now, all of that is disproven?
Then it'll be disproven? I don't know. Like, what if tomorrow I wake up and a platypus bites me right on the nutsack? Then that will happen. But that doesn't. But I'm not wearing a cup today, and I'm not going to wear one tomorrow because I don't think that that's very likely. But this black hole cosmology. Hi, kitty cat. This black hole cosmology stuff. I mean, again, it would like if we live in a black hole, it would still be the case that the universe has the dimensions that it does. It would still be the case that the observable universe is expanding. It would still be the case, like the details of the Big Bang would all still be preserved. There would maybe be a couple of things.
So I guess my next
that
question
would be slight modifications to it. But
can you tell me about Hubble tension and how that works?
I've heard of that, but off the top of my head, I can't tell you anything.
So I believe there's discrepancies in how fast the rate of the universe is expanding from two different beliefs of expansion, if you will. So one saying it's slowly expanding and one saying it's rapidly expanding. So I guess the only thing that we can say is the universe is expanding.
Yeah.
So once again, science doesn't have an answer. They just have a hypothesis is what I'm trying to get to.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I would say it that way. I feel like you're kind of selling them short. I mean, the scientists are the ones that understand this, and the scientists are the ones that are working tirelessly every day to figure out, which one of those is true or whatever. Like, literally, it's kind of weird, but the fact that we do science every day basically means we are always trying to prove even the established science that we have currently wrong, which I think is the height of accountability in a truth-seeking model or idea or plan or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I mean, I love that, and I guess the biggest hurdle that I think science has is if you go back, predate, let's say 1960, and look at their science they believe to be true, a lot of it has been disproven. So what percentage of what we know now is going to be totally wrong 60 years from today? I guess that's the one thing that I battle with. How incorrect can we be?
I'm sort of the opinion that take some of the biggest ideas in science like evolution, genetics, atomic theory, relativity, plate tectonics, whatever else. I genuinely don't think any of those stand any chance of being disproven. We'll just learn additional data points about them. Like we're just absolutely not it's not going to happen that we're going to learn in the future that, oh yeah, there actually are no positive or negative or neutrally charged subatomic particles. It was all actually just blank. It's like that. That's not going to happen. Now we may learn something new, we know what causes charge already, but maybe we learn some extra detail about that. And so that doesn't disprove anything we originally thought. It's kind of like Newtonian mechanics or gravity and then relativity. There were things about Newtonian's idea about gravity that were actually proven false because it assumes absolute space and absolute motion. And we now know through relativity that that's completely false. But all the equations for like Newtonian gravity still accurately describe everything. So it's not really false. It's just incomplete.
Fair enough. And that also is the reason why nothing is called a law anymore either. And that's the exact definition of why. But either way, hey man, I actually enjoyed talking to you. I just wanted to see kind of where you were at with how faithful you were to your own notions. But at the same time, hey man, I'm going to give you a follow. I appreciate you. Have a blessed one, and I'll talk to you later.
I'm happy to announce that I can now offer signed copies of both of my books. This is because I've reopened my merch store where you can get your very own Spanky t-shirt, and more. If you don't know, Rational Answers to Stupid Questions is a collection of responses to about 100 of the most common anti-scientific tropes. The book is meticulously detailed, it's been fact-checked by real scientists, and it's written in a clear and easy to understand way. Evolution, the Big Bang, creationism, flat Earth, all of that plus more is in there. Facts That Aren't True is a collection of over 150 commonly held beliefs that are not true. Each claim has a story behind it. You'll learn the history behind the claim, the science that disproves it, or partially supports it in some cases, and lots of side stories and tangents. Categories include the human body, history, religion, animals, nature, language, and a hodgepodge of miscellaneous facts that aren't true. So if you want to be equipped to handle the misinformation that you see me tackling here every day, get a copy of one or both of those books for yourself. Thank you.
Is completely different subject than all the other ones, and I'm more interested in the upper subjects rather than the mega subject.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
So I believe that it is very likely that we all came here because of evolution. But I think the chances of there being some sort of an intervention is higher than an extremely small amount. And I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in, God saying light and all of a sudden a light shows up. And I also understand the evolution kind of a theory part, which is that there's about 10 to the power 10 stars per galaxy, and there's about 10 to the power 10 galaxies that we can observe, which means that if almost all circumstances will happen, it's like if you throw in the die like almost infinite amount of time, you are going to get 56s in a row, so that we might be one of those. But if you were to observe somebody throwing a die 50 times in a row, then it is most likely the die is rigged rather than they got incredibly lucky. And if, let's say, the chances of life and chances of development of life is not that uncommon, then the chances of intervention actually goes up. So if there's a lot of civilizations everywhere, and then there is a chance that one of those civilizations actually intervene on Earth. And if there isn't, then now we are like the lucky few or the only possible planet that a life exists. So for those reasons, I think there is a decent chance that there is some level of intervention happens somewhere. What do you think?
Well, did you say at the end that this is the only planet where it's likely that life arrived on or arose on?
No, I didn't say that. I said that if it is extremely unlikely that if it is extremely unlikely a life can develop, then we're the only one, or we are the one of the few. That's why we can't see anybody else. At that point, it becomes very unlikely. And if the life is something that is easy to happen, for example,
right?
What's his name? Neil deGrasse Tyson says all the time that life is pretty easy because everything in life
life's made of
easy things.
Four most chemically available.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get what you're saying.
Then the intervention is pretty easy. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. You want to turn the deep fryer off though?
It is not a deep fryer. It's my I'm waiting on a restaurant and they just clicking happens. So can you turn that off, please, sir?
It's not a deep fryer. I'm just at a restaurant. So anyway.
It's a beeper that tells me that my food's ready.
Yeah.
Okay. I gave it back.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So you've done a pretty weird inversion here of taking the concept of an infinite universe. If there's an infinite universe, then regardless of how unlikely it is for life to arise, it's basically inevitable that it would somewhere. But then you attach to that, but if it's infinite, then yeah, you have the monkeys writing Shakespeare, but we also have an infinite number of planets where aliens or whatever intervened in the life.
No. Yeah, I agree with you.
Oh, okay. You said no. I was like, oh, I was pretty sure that's what you
No,
said.
no, no.
So
No, just say
that's
something.
interesting,
Yeah.
and it follows technically, but the problem is the exact same logic that takes you from, well, there would be an infinite number of planets out there where aliens came, or where Xenu jerks off in the volcano and the alien sperm goes into the apes and makes them smart, like in Scientology. Yeah, there's an infinite number of those. There's also an infinite number of planets where life just arose on its own. So it's actually kind of like a Pascal's wager type thing where it's similar to that. So I can grant you that it's possible in an infinite universe, but that still isn't evidence that that's what happened here. We have to compare ideas, and then you have to give me something here on Earth or about life that compares to how do I want to say it? Where we could compare it to a non-interventionist thing. Yep. And now I'm not a math. I only have one more. I only have one more thing here. Just one more thing. I'm not a math magician,
go ahead.
So maybe what I'm about to say is ill-informed. But if even if you're going to say, well, yeah, but it's more likely that life could only get to this point if there was intervention. Well, okay, but if the universe is infinite, then doesn't it not really matter what's more likely? We still have an infinite number of both of them. Now, I don't know if that actually follows, because I'm not a math magician, but my intuition is telling me that doesn't actually help you out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm not contradicting anything that you have said. I think that for example, if you look at bananas, the bananas are really good to eat, and that's because even though the genetics of the bananas existed for a long time, but we actually intervened and made it easier for us to eat. And I do think that the things that we are made out of, that's everywhere. That means there is a high chance that there are others out there who have, just think about this way. So it took us a very long time to develop to a certain level. And then right after we developed enough, then the development actually increased by a huge amount. And as we go into robotics and AIs, now the future development is going to be even faster, which means if the other planets have billion years ahead of us, then there's a very high chance that they could do a lot of things that we can't do, and we cannot detect what they're doing. But I think that that chance is unlikely, but I don't think it is 0%. I think it's a decent chance that something along the way, something intervened. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, sure, it's just that it's like, yeah, maybe, to me, it's like, maybe UFOs. Yeah, maybe, but I need to see some evidence of it. Okay. Just saying it's possible is not the same thing as saying it's likely or that it happened. And even saying that it's likely is not evidence that it happened either.
Yeah, the only kind of a non-evident evidence that I have is that we can see what we can see, and everything that has happened to us, it is an incredibly unlikely scenario to happen. If you were to find another 1,000 planets, chances of them having a civilization is incredibly low. So you can hear of somebody winning the Powerball, and somebody might win a Powerball that's a relative to them, but if it happens right in front of your face, that means something is rigged. So we seeing that thing, us being the only one that got super lucky, I think that is less likely, or at the very least, it's not guaranteed compared to something, really lucky happened somewhere else, but they actually intervene and they.
But this is just the anthropic principle. No matter what, if you are capable of making the observation, you can only deduce that, or it would be inevitable for you to deduce that, oh, I was supposed to make this observation, or everything ended up so that I would make this observation.
Okay, I think I generally believe that evolution is most likely the case, and Earth is absolutely not flat. And yeah,
that's
so
good.
I will not talk about the political stuff, and I think I'll just leave it at that.
Sounds good.
Thanks for having me.